So 2017 has proved to be a bit of the year of the reading slump. I haven't read as much as I would have liked. I even set my Goodreads goal really low for me this year. And not only that, I just went through periods where either I wasn't reading a lot or what I was reading I didn't really have anything to say about it, which is kind of just as disappointing. And I was reading a lot of just kind of like, books. Or, yeah, it was good, but don't really have anything to say about it. I don't like that. I'm a discusser at heart, but I have a book that I read that I'm very excited about. And that book is The Templars, The Rise and Spectacular Fall of God's Holy Warriors by Dan Jones. Now, I've actually been a fan of Dan Jones's writing since both reading two of his previous books, or rather listening to them, one book being on the Plantagenets, the other book being on the Wars of the Roses, but also really, and the way that I first encountered him was through a documentary series that he did, I believe for the BBC, but which Netflix has kind of picked up to at least distribute to the United States, entitled something to the effect of Secrets of Great British Castles, I think. Jones has a way of telling you a lot of very fact-laden history as if it's nothing more than a story. I suppose there is an argument that, yes, anything, even history, is a story, but I've found that when I try and read history books, oftentimes they're very dry. It's people just like slamming information after information at me, and it's kind of going in one ear and out the other, and I feel like, oh god, someone save me, I'm not in class anymore. Yeah. But not with Dan Jones. He has a way of writing which is a very narrative style that I greatly appreciate. It makes his books all the more entertaining and more fun for me to read, while also being incredibly informative. After all, these are non-fiction history books. And this book on the Templars is truly fantastic, and it doesn't hurt that Jones actually narrates the audiobook version himself, as he himself is a great oral storyteller. The story of the Templars is one that could have easily fallen into repetition and just a recitation of facts, but Jones found a way to tell a relatively chronological tale of, as the subtitle says, the rise and spectacular fall of the Templars. Now, if you're gonna ask me about the Templars before this book, I probably would have told you what I'd gather a lot of people think about them. Mostly the myth and the romanticized tales that we've heard of them as passed through time or seen through other fictional accounts. And what I appreciate most, beyond Jones's dedication to telling the story not only of what happened, but of how the order was perceived by the outside world, as well as a great deal of necessary context, but that he uses the epilogue in particular to discuss the romanticization and mythologization, which is not a word, but I'm making it a word, of the Templars. And this dates back even to their own lifetime, before they were torn apart. A lot of this information, like I said, I was kind of shallowly aware of. I've seen movies, I've read, books, novels, and, there's the Assassin's Creed video game and tons of other things. But even being shallowly aware of all of those, I'd sort of figured that the Templars' link to, say, the Holy Grail was based more in fiction than it was in fact. But even with this little guess, it's great that Jones went all the way back to, say, the epic poem Parzival, to our present day, discussing the various ways in which the Templars were made into something more and different than what they actually were. He doesn't write it as a kind of dragging of things like, say, Da Vinci Code, Assassin's Creed, Ivanhoe, or Kingdom of Heaven, just to name a few, but as a way of showing how an organization like the Templars, who in their lifetime maintained a high level of secrecy for very practical reasons that ultimately came back to bite them in the ass, but is also ripe for both romanticization and mythologization. Again, not a word, I don't think. I'm making it a word. Y'all know what I mean. I'd encourage anybody who's even got the scantest knowledge of what they think the Templars were to pick up this book. It's an interesting nugget of history that doesn't really ever get discussed, but we sort of think we know about because of fiction. And from their foundings to their rather spectacular fall, sometimes the fact is crazier than fiction. And like me, you will probably walk away with the opinion that Philip IV of France was a spectacular, raging asshole. Thanks for watching me ramble today. If you'd like to see more from me, go ahead and click that button with my face on it. It'll take you to my channel, where I ramble about a whole lot of different things. Got some thoughts of your own? Go ahead and leave them down in the comments. And make sure that if you want to see more ramblings from me, you click that little subscribe button. That's it for me today, you guys, so until next time, cheers.